Hey folks, I'm DeadScale, and today I'm going to be doing a guide to lanes in Dota 2, brought to you on behalf of Mobility Gaming. So you've picked your hero, got your starting items, and are off into the game. But what lane to choose? New players of Dota usually have trouble understanding the lanes, and simple mistakes such as picking the wrong lane can end up getting them killed, and your team annoyed at you. This video should help you understand the basics of lanes and the different setups that you can use in them. Let's have a look at the minimap, shall we? As you can see here, the minimap is divided into two, one side being the Dire, the other side the Radiant, with a river separating the two in the middle. On each side, it's divided into three lanes, the jungle and the secret shop. The top lane of the Dire side and the bottom lane of the Radiant side is called the long lane, or the safe lane. This is usually the lane used by carries and supports, as having the jungle next to them makes it very easy to creep pull, and to keep their lane pulled back. Also, on the long lane, your enemies are further away from their tower, as the creeps are pulled back into yours. This opens up a nice window for ganks from mid, as if the enemies want to get any experience, they have to leave their tower. It also makes it harder for the enemies at mid to gank, as you're right next to your tower. The middle lane is the main solo lane for the teams. Usually the big, strong early game heroes who need levels or are good at ganking go here. Do take note that the mid lane is the only lane that the river passes through, creating a hill at both sides. Understanding how this terrain works is key to playing mid lane, as if you're on top of the hill, you can see down and over to the other hill. But if you're in the middle, you have no vision on top of either of the hills. This, coupled with the fact that attacking uphill makes some attacks miss, can be very dangerous for new players, as not being able to see behind you leaves you wide open for ganks. However, a good mid player will usually prevent the pushing of their lane and stay relatively safe. The top lane for the Radiant, or the bottom lane for the Dire, is usually referred to as the side lane, or the short lane. This lane is usually where your side solos or bruisers go, and there will always be at least one ranged hero here, as last hitting on the side lane is a very dangerous task, as you are far from your tower. This lane is also referred to as the suicide lane, and funnily enough, it's the lane that you will play the most as a new player, so you better get used to it. The main reason for this is that playing on this lane is usually a luck of the draw type lane for new players, as usually the solos and average players will pick the mid as they already know how to play it, and the long lane will usually go to two people who want to get the early kills, or are friends. This leaves you and someone else, unless you have a jungler, with the side lane. Another important aspect of lanes is your hero choice, as your hero needs to be able to handle its lane respectively. Always take this into consideration when choosing a hero, as not having a certain hero that can handle a certain lane can really hurt your team. Let's have a look at some good hero choices for each lane. For the long lane, you'll usually want your hard carries and babysitters here, as it's a safe lane and allows them to farm safely while maybe picking up some kills. Normally there will always be two heroes on this lane, and in some cases three. Rarely anywhere outside of professional games will you see someone solo this lane. Heroes such as Faceless Void, Anti-Mage, and Spectre, as well as Dazzle, Venomancer, and Tidehunter usually lane here. For the mid lane, you'll want whoever is dependent on levels here. This usually includes gankers and semi-carries, as they need levels early on to roam and pick up kills. You'll normally only see one hero soloing this lane, and in rare cases two to combat a very powerful solo mid or to take down a carry. Heroes such as Pudge, Shadow Demon, Bane, and a whole other mess of gankers and semi-carries are usually seen on this lane. For the side lane, there's only one hero you'll ever need, Windrunner. But in all seriousness now, this lane consists of your tanky heroes and your side solos. It's not too uncommon to have a solo here, as it is usually a dual lane. Usually heroes on the side lane have some kind of escape mechanism, or if dual laning, some kind of counter gank ability, as you can expect to be ganked a lot here. Another thing vital to your survival on side lane is wards. Always pick up a set of wards and place them on the rune. I cannot stress this enough. Putting them on the rune and inside the enemy jungle is about the best thing you can ever do in this game, because the amount of times they will save your life is priceless. So do not be afraid to keep buying them, as the 200 coin is a very minimal cost to ensure your safety. Heroes such as Windrunner, Clinks, or any other hero with an escape mechanism can be seen here. If you're ever in doubt in which lane you should go in, always ask your team, preferably before choosing your hero, so you can make the necessary adjustments. Do not be afraid to call a lane you want as well, as if you get stuck in a lane you cannot play, you'd just be hurting your team. I personally like to wait until everybody else on my team has chosen their heroes to see what my team needs. And that is really all you need to know about lanes in Dota 2. If you found this video helpful, please leave a like and a comment below. And if you have any questions, do not be afraid to ask. And don't forget to subscribe. This is DeadScale from Mobility Gaming, signing out.